how all of that was going to play out. So yeah, when you're an offensive coordinator, you're starting off in July. Get those installs done that first week you get back from vacation, and sit down with your staff and have everything planned out. How you gonna do things, because it's going to make a big difference when you get to fall camp. You're not going to feel like it. You're not going to have time, and you're not going to want to deal with all of that kind of stuff. So, it's a good idea that first week when you get back to get all that done. Go ahead and get those scripts done too. You can always adjust them, but get them started and get everything going, and all. So the second thing there again, create your practice scripts for your first 2 weeks. So you should have your installs done this week, and your 2 week scripts for your first 2 weeks of practice. Because I just hey, I see you out there. I see you out there, my guy, my Dallas, Texas boy. Yeah, I got some. We got some. Hey, Grimes. We talking about some real football, some Georgia high school football. None of that weak Texas stuff. He knows I'm messing with him. I got a lot of respect for Texas high school football. They do a good job in there and everything. But anyway, yeah, getting back to it, we want to create our practice scripts for the first 2 weeks, and we want to just get the installs, practice scripts done that we're going to do from August 1st to August 10th. Because once you get into camp, you ain't going to have time to really put time into it like you need to do, and get it installed and get it scripted out like you want. Another thing I would do this week is I would review and adjust playbook based on the spring and summer performance. You've had 2 weeks in May for spring practice. You've had 4 weeks in June for practice and for summer practice, and 7-on-7 and OTAs. And you should have a good idea of what your team is going to be able to do, and you should have a good idea of the plays that you're going to kind of hang your hat on this year, compared to some of the things you can't do as well. And if you've had 6 weeks to practice something and you're still not good at it, it might be something that you need to back off of a little bit. So I'd get that done as well. I'd also meet with my position coaches to define teaching priorities. Okay, get your position coaches. This is a great week to get your position coaches on the board and let them show you how they're going to teach things. What drills are they going to be doing? Why are they going to be doing? I see you, Richie Valentine. Hey, what drills are they going to be doing? How they're going to be teaching those drills? How are they going to be teaching the plays? Make them go through the play when they're meeting with the kids. How are they going to install this with the kids? And it's a great way for the staff to all get on the same page. If everybody hears it and speaks the same language, you're just gonna have a better understanding of what everyone's doing. So that's another thing I would do. I'd also assign scout team duties this week. I would get with, who's going to be running the scout team for the defense, what positions, what's going to be expected of them on the scout team, and also, just have those preparation meetings to make sure that you're all on the same page as far as your communication with how you're going to name the defenses, name the coverages, things like that, just to review that. Like I say, a lot of this stuff's probably already been done, but like I say, this is a good week here to reinforce some of the stuff that you've probably already talked about during the off season. So that's the first week when you get back, get all that done and everything, and make sure that you get those details out of the way, because like I say, when you get August 1st and things, camp cranks up and you got school going on, you're not going to have time to do a lot of this stuff. Coach T, you'll love this, man. Yesterday we were talking about head coach stuff, and one of the main things I pointed out was getting eligibility done early in July. Coach Tomlin taught me that. He's on my live right now. He taught me to get eligibility done early in July, and that way it's not hanging over your head, because that's the one thing you don't want to mess up on, I can promise you. Anyway, so let's get to the second week of July for offensive coordinators here. You want to break down film on your first opponent and create an initial game plan. I would say that probably want to break down film on your first 2 or 3 opponents personally. But at least have your first opponent done. And hopefully you've been working on some of that in June as well. Like I say, I think it's a good idea to get your first 3 opponents broke down in the summertime and have kind of a preliminary game plan for how you're going to attack them. Take some notes. It may not be anything official, but it could be something where you have some kind of an idea, because your first 3 opponents, a lot of your film study is going to be from the previous year, especially if they've not changed head coaches or coordinators. And obviously, if they've changed head coaches and coordinators, you're going to get film from where that guy came from. So I think getting a good foundation for your first 3 opponents is really good at this point, and just kind of really get a head start on them. Another thing is identify your base tempo, formations, and primary personnel packages. Okay, what are we going to hang our hat on? What are we, are we going to be a no huddle team? Are we going to be a huddle team? Are we going to be a tempo huddle team? How are we going to change tempo? What are we going to do there? So some of those things that get overlooked early on are something to take care of right now. Another thing here is, what are going to be our, like I say, there you've had 2 weeks of spring practice, you've had a whole month of June working with your guys. You should have an idea of what you're going to be good at. So I would go ahead and solidify my formations, my primary personnel packages that I'm going to use, and just kind of get a base. Now, that doesn't mean you have to stick with that the whole year, but I'm just talking about our base and what we're going to hang our hat on. What's something that every game we go into that we're going to have in our back pocket. I would if you use wristbands, I would make sure that I have all those updated, and that way all you had to do was like type in the information each week. Or if maybe you got some guys use basically the same wristband every week for their play calls, but I would go ahead and get those updated, and any kind of play cards that I could get drawn up. Like say, you can get your some of your offensive play cards, make sure they're correct. So when you start doing your installs and your teaching with your kids, that you've got that in order. And then also, maybe your scout team cards as well. Get those done. So I think it's a good time to get all that in line and get it organized. Because like I say, when you get going in August and school starts, you're not going to have time to do a lot of this stuff, especially early on. Also, I would coordinate walkthroughs and install plays with the head coach. You're going to have to meet with your head coach and let him know, hey, this is our install plan. This is what we're going to go through on walkthroughs, meetings, things like that. Most of the time, I know at the high school level, the head coach is typically very involved with the offense. I know I was when I was a head coach, but if he's more of a CEO type guy, and maybe he's a defensive guy where he puts more time on defense, I think this is a good time to sit down with him and show him your plan. And just keep him aware of what's going on with that. So that takes us through the first 2 weeks of July. Okay, our third week of July, we're going to script the first week of fall camp. If we haven't already done that the previous week, we got to make sure that first week of fall camp is scripted. Especially if you're doing 2-a-days, 3-a-days, whatever. If you're doing multiple practices in a day, including walkthroughs, things like that. Like I say, you're just not going to have time to get all that done. So you need to go ahead and get that done. I would go ahead this week and start working and finalizing my red zone and goal line packages. If you were going to have any kind of gadgets, anything that was going to change, if you were going to put in some kind of wildcat formation or something like that, to where down on the goal line or down in the red zone. I would just go ahead and condense my playbook in that area and get a good idea of what I'm going to do in those situations and go ahead and have that done during this week. Okay. Another thing you want to do is you want to meet with your staff and you want to set film grading criteria and install expectations per position. Okay. Decide what a grade. If you're going to do the plus minus system, if you're going to do the 0, 1, 2, 3 system, whatever you're going to do, get everybody on the same page. Everybody do it. That way, when you grade the film and you get things rolling after the game, everybody's on the same page. You meet after the game, after everybody's graded the film. Everybody's talking the same language. Everybody's saying the same kind of grades, and you know what a grade means because you've sat down as a staff and established those standards and what's expected. I'd also during this week meet with the quarterbacks and skill players for pre-camp review. This is a great time to have some early walkthroughs with them. Go ahead and get them on the ahead of the game, so when fall camp gets here, you're ready to roll, and they already kind of know what to expect early on. And I know that a lot of you have a lot of your playbook installed, but I still think there's something to be said about late in July and early August, getting back to the beginning, to the install one, and working from there to kind of just reiterate some points in your offense that you want your kids to execute that year. All right, so like I say, that's a great time to meet with those guys, those quarterbacks and skill players, and get some extra pre-camp time in. All right, now, the last week of July, going into the final camp, is getting ready for camp, is your final camp install checklist and adjustments. Has anything changed since you did this earlier in July? Have you just had some change of heart or thought about some things that you wanted to get done differently? So hey, I think that's a great time to kind of just final checklist, adjust it, and kind of get you ready for camp. I would go ahead and send install video or study reminder to my players. Okay, get that stuff on huddle for them so they can go home and study it. If you've got any things you want to give them, PDF wise or something like that to study by, get it in their hands this week, and let them have the whole week to digest it before we get into camp August 1st. Okay, and then we're going to start having some final walkthrough or mental rep sessions, getting before camp. Like I said, I would have that first practice. I would definitely have a walkthrough of the first practice with my entire team, and then I would go offensively and I would go down my script. Whether it be my pre-practice script, my inside run script, my 7-on-7 script, my team scripts. I would do all that stuff, have that ready to go. Because like I say, you want that first day, you want to really set the tone, and you don't want them not knowing what's going on. You want to go ahead and walk them through practice. Hey guys, this is your station before practice for your pre-practice. This is how we're going to line up the stretch. I know you've done all that before, and then this is where you're going to go for individual. Hey guys, these are kind of the drills we're going to run, things like that. So, and then after this, we're going to go to special teams and just kind of walk through and let everybody know where they're going to be during all those times. Because like I say, when you blow that whistle on August 1st to change stations, you don't want half the kids going left and half the kids going right. You want everybody going where they're supposed to be going, because you want a time frame. You know what I mean? You don't have time to sit there and start periods late because you got guys that aren't paying attention or guys that don't know. You know what I mean? And it's something you could have prevented because you're going to have enough confusion without all that. So try to get ahead of the game with that. So I think these are some good points, offensive coordinator wise, that can make you a better team, better coach, and help all your players just do a better job going into camp. Hey, I see you, John Thompson, and we hey John, where you going for vacation this year? I know you going to the beach somewhere, but anyway, hey, I love seeing my buddies on here from Georgia and everything. But anyway, hey, I'm kind of down my list now. So if there's anybody's got any questions out there, I see some people out there trying to be funny and ask some questions about Colorado and everything. But hey, let's keep this on topic. y'all kind of got me distracted a couple of times when I was trying to go through my list. Kind of made me chuckle about a few things. So if there's anybody there that has any questions or anything, hey Buck, what's going on, man? I see you out there. I saw you the other day doing a little cooking online, man. All right, but I got my man Sal. What's up, dog? Hey Sal, I'm flying to Georgia next week, and I'm gonna be doing some fishing, plenty of fishing. I want to make sure I post plenty of pictures of fish so you can see who the real fisherman is around here. Oh, I got a good one right here from Rad the photographer. I mean, in high school, I would say Chase Bryce at Grayson. And then, of course, in college, Shedeur Sanders. So that's the two quarterbacks that I've coached that have had the best throwing motion. Buck, it looked like you were running things in that kitchen, man. So, hey, I'm just trying to keep going, my man. Hey, Katie, do you have them nails done? CFD, what you need, buddy? Can you? I'll be glad to help you out if I can. I feel like I need to be like these young kids here playing some video game or something when y'all watch me and talk to me, but I don't understand that. Brad, the photographer, how long have I been coaching for? 34 years. Started in 1992. 28 years of high school football, and then got with Coach Prime when he got the Jackson State job and went there with him. What's up, Save Noah? Hey, I'll tell you something that's kind of on my mind here, and I've kind of been thinking about it, and it's a little bit off subject from what I said we were going to talk about today. But like I said, I got through my list here. Hey, I want to talk a little bit about youth sports. Particularly, sports before high school. Whether it be football, baseball, basketball, soccer, whatever you play, okay? And if you're a parent out there and that has a kid this age or coach, I'm talking to you guys, okay? I'm gonna probably say some things a little controversial here, but it's how I feel. And I was actually had it on my mind this morning, and it just got me thinking about some things. To me, because I see a lot of videos out here on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and things where you got people that are saying, every kid doesn't deserve playing time in youth sports. That only the kids that put in the time, put in the effort, put in the work, and all this stuff deserve to play. And guys, I just want to tell you something. I could not disagree more with that. Because to me, before the high school level, it's about player development. And I know there's people out there that say, well, my kid puts in extra time. My kid goes to the batting cage. My kid works works out extra. Well, let me tell you something. You don't know that kid that's not able to do that. That kid may not have, his parents may not have the money to send him to a private hitting coach. He may not have the money to send him to a quarterback coach or a trainer or something like that. That kid's parents may be doing all they can do, working to pay the bills. They may not be able to take off every time you turn around and come to all of his games, and they may not be able to take off and take him to all this training and stuff. And hey, they may not even have time to really play with him in the backyard. And I've seen so many times where kids that were very coordinated at an early age, and maybe they were faster than the other kids or something, and they were just a little bit more mature at an early age, and they would dominate the youth sport. They would play all the time, and they would, you always hear about them, man, boy, that boy was really good when he was playing Pee Wee football or Little League baseball or something like this. And then as kids get older, some of those kids that maybe not quite as coordinated when they were younger, or maybe they wasn't quite as developed when they were younger, they mature a little later. And all of a sudden you get to high school, and those are the kids that tend to do the best. And to me, if you don't try to play all the kids and try to develop all the kids at an early age, then I think you're really missing the point, and you're maybe causing a kid that would be really good, could be really good one day, causing them to lose interest. Because let's face it, a 9-year-old doesn't want to go to a baseball game and sit on the bench all the time. Listen, that's just the way it is. And I'm afraid that youth sports has come to a situation where it's about how much money your parents have rather than anything. And that's not what youth sports is about, people. I'm sorry, it's not. The amount of money your mom and daddy make should not affect your ability or right to play. Okay, and that's just how I feel about things. Let me slide over a little bit, guys. I'm sorry. I got one of my phones here going a little swampy on me. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me switch this around. See if I can't get this to go here. Okay, let me get this right here. Oops. Get this kind of turned here. Get this here, we good. All right, I'm back. I'm back on subject now, guys. But anyway, I just don't feel like that we should be playing kids based off how much money they got. And I think that at the youth level, seriously, I see all this stuff with all these tournament rings and trophies and all this stuff. Hey, we won this weekend. We won this tournament this weekend. Listen, in the end, take it from somebody that played right on up through. Those things that you win in Little League and Pee Wee football and all that kind of stuff, that ain't gonna matter to you in the end. Once you get to high school or college, or that's what you're gonna remember. And that's where it starts becoming a little bit more about wins and losses. Because I'll be honest with you, starting at the high school level, hey, coaches are getting hired and fired based off wins and losses. I don't know that anybody is losing their job because the 9U baseball team lost the Blackberry Festival tournament this past weekend. You know what I mean? That's just not happening. And I'm not trying to be, negative about that, because I think it's great for those kids to have those opportunities. But I think that if you're a good coach and you've got your heart in the right place about kids, then you're trying to develop those kids to be better players for the high school level and right on up. You can do that and still try to win. I'm not to win at the by any means, but I just don't think I think we're losing the scope of what we're talking about here. If you got a baseball tournament and you play 5 or 6 games, and one kid gets 2 at bats all weekend, I mean, I just don't think that's right. I don't go along with that. I don't believe that. And I know a lot of people out there um, uh, want to, make it all about winning. And a lot of times, those are the parents that are there. Maybe their kid is a little better. Maybe their kid does, they put in a little bit more time with their child. But maybe you don't also know what's going on with that other kid's life. So that's kind of my little soapbox deal. I know that a lot of people may disagree with that, but that's just like I've got some controversial opinions, about some of that stuff that would probably surprise some people. But I've been around it too long, and I've too much go on. I've seen too many kids lose interest at a young age because the coaches and the parents of the team didn't have the right mindset, didn't have the right um, uh, uh, you know, outlook on what we're trying to accomplish. I mean, when kids are growing up, the youth programs, the rec programs, they should be preparing the kids to play at the high school and college level, and you do that by developing the fundamentals, by working on the fundamentals. And a kid can't work on the fundamentals if they don't ever get to play. And uh, I tell you what, hey man, if you at East Mississippi Community College, I see you out there. Last Chance U. I used to ride through scuba all the time. Anyway, I'm sorry, folks. I had someone get on there that caught my attention. Let's see, Coach, you remember our conversation about the wall at Appleton County? Clint, I do, man. I tell you what, Clint Smith, that was a great football player for us at Appleton County. He single-handedly beat Wayne County our first year, the week after they beat Valdosta. You didn't think I remembered that. He scored both of our touchdowns. But anyway, if anybody's got any comments about that out there, I'd love to hear what other people have to say. I'm always, open to hear it. I know there's a lot of controversy in youth sports. You hear the stuff about the daddy ball, and then you hear the stuff about teams playing to win, or teams kids not deserving to play and stuff. It's all over social media right now. I don't know why people don't are getting so worried about a 9 or 10-year-old playing time. That don't make sense to me. I had 2 daughters, and both of them grew up playing sports. My oldest daughter, she chose to do competitive cheerleading. That was her thing. But you know what? I never went to a competition and got. I mean, it used to amaze me that we sitting here watching little bitty girls out here doing the cheer competition, and you got parents upset saying the judges are cheating. I'm like, listen, did they have fun? That's what's important. Did they have fun? Are they enjoying it? Are they gonna keep doing it? And she did keep doing it, and she ended up her senior year. She ended up being all state, and her team was finished state runner up by 2 points. So it ended up. Once she got in high school, it got a little more serious. But even then, I just didn't get all wound up into the stuff, some of that kind of stuff. I just wanted to sit there and watch her play and enjoy it and compete. Now, my youngest one, she competed for a little while. She competed through high school, and but she also played other things. She tried softball for a while, tried soccer for a while, did gymnastics for So, and you know what? I supported her the same way. I didn't get all into how much playing time she got and things like that. As long as she was having fun with it and enjoying it and stuff, that's kind of the attitude I had about it. So anyway, yeah, Clint could play a little bit. He was pretty good. He was a pretty good player. I just had someone ask me, was a former player of mine any good? Hey man, Smoke One, we recruit from wherever we can find players. So somebody has players, we will recruit them if we get in there. You know, hey, tell your head coach to send me who he's got. We'll be glad to look at him. But yeah, back on the subject of youth sports and everything. Like I said, I just feel that way about it, and I think that it's important to try to develop kids. Now I'm gonna tell you some other controversial thing that a lot of people will probably disagree with me on here. You know, you got a lot of people talking about daddy ball. You know, well, the coach plays his son, the coach plays his daughter. Well, if I'm a coach and I'm volunteering my time to coach little kids, I mean, I'm volunteering my time because my kid's on that team. All right, so I'm probably going to want them to play. I don't want to volunteer my time and then bench my kid, you know. And I know that the parents may, some parents may disagree with that. That's okay. But I just feel like I don't feel like there's anything wrong with a coach playing his kid. And yeah, he's probably gonna let him pitch, play shortstop, play quarterback, stuff like that. But you know what? I always tell people, hey, listen, if you want your kid to play those positions, then you know maybe you need to volunteer to coach. You know, I mean, I don't know what to tell people about that. I mean, I don't know what people expect grown folks to do when they're out there volunteering their time. I know it can be frustrating and all. I had a question here. Hi, Coach. My son is 15. How do I get his video and name seen by colleges? Well, I think it's very important, you know, to, you know, just keep one thing you got to understand, whether you're trying to reach a college coach on Twitter or email or whatever, we get thousands of messages a day. I mean, we really do. I mean, sometimes it's overwhelming. And you just got to keep sending it until he sees it. You know, just keep sending it till he sees it. You know, get his head coach in college, or I mean high school. Excuse me. Get his head coach in high school to reach out to the coaches. But you know, but I would also make sure that I'm reaching out to schools where I'm realistic about where my kid can play. You know, hold on a minute. Let me see right here. Dang, Clint, I didn't know you'd moved to Columbus, man. But anyway, back on that subject. Yeah, I think that you know maybe you need to talk to some your high school coach, and he'll be realistic with you. You know, and you know you can look online and tell what kind. You know, compare your child to their height, their weight, their speed, and and uh, and we got. You know, that way you can narrow down the colleges that you need to be reaching out to. You know, I mean, let's face it. He's, you know, there's just certain size and weights and speed requirements to play at different levels for certain positions. And you know, I think as a parent, it's really important to be um, uh, realistic with that. Hey, one thing I do want to talk about also is this: is if your kid is like right now as college coaches, we can obviously talk to 2026 recruits, okay? And we just got to the point where we can talk to 2027 recruits, okay? So now we can initiate conversation with them. If he's a 2028, 2029, 2030, we can't reach out to those guys. So you have to catch us, and maybe we can respond to a message you send us, and you know, just be polite and tell you, hey, send this stuff to us. But we can't reach out. We can't initiate contact or anything with those guys. So if you've got a young kid that you're trying to get noticed, just understand the coach is not ignoring you because he don't want to talk to you. A lot of times it's the rules. Okay. Hey, somebody saying, am I originally from Colorado? No, I'm not. I'm from Georgia, Andy G. Born, raised, coached 28 years of high school football in Georgia before I moved to Mississippi, and when Coach Prime got the Jackson State job. Hey, I tell you what, I just got someone that says something about their nephew. Hey, another thing about college coaching recruiting, if you're a parent, mom or dad, uncle, grandparent, aunt, whatever, hey, don't message us about a kid you know. Hey, get that kid to message us. We want to hear from them, because here's the deal. As soon as we see the email that says, "Hey, my son," this, it's just kind of a negative thing for us. So just make sure you um, get those kids to reach out to us and everything. Hey, I know you got the best interest at heart. I can appreciate that. But it looks better coming from the kid if we can get the info from him, because we want to know they interested in coming. You know what I mean? We want to know that they willing to put that in there. What's up, CJ? I see you out there, man. Sign Magic asks y'all ready for the season. We getting ready. We still got a long way to go. Well, Andy G, when I was coaching, he said, "Why pick Colorado? It seems like Georgia and Colorado, two different areas, landscape and culture. They definitely are different in all three aspects." But I've got, like I say, I was born and raised in Georgia, coached their high school football for 28 years. And then when Deion Sanders calls you up on the phone and says, "Hey, coach, I'm going to Jackson State. You want to go with me?" That kind of gets you going. So I moved to Mississippi, and then after that, he got the Colorado job, and I went with him here. So it's been a great relationship he and I have, and it certainly has paid dividends for me. So that's what got me out to Colorado. Yeah, somebody said here Boulder is different than the other parts of Colorado. I think there's a lot of different parts of Colorado, different people, different mindsets in different areas. And it's kind of it is a it. But you know what? It's the same way in Georgia. It's the same way. People that live in Atlanta are different than people that live in South Georgia. People that live in Savannah over there on the coast, they're different than people everywhere. It's just all different. Hey, I got somebody just said they're trying to reach out to me on Twitter. I got my Twitter handle's the same as my Instagram and Facebook and YouTube handle, and so just keep reaching out to me, keep trying, and I'll eventually see it. Actually, Andy G, I'm coming back to Georgia for a couple of weeks. I leave July 1st, and I'm gonna stay there for a couple of weeks, and I got a special uh, event that's going on July 12th. So everybody will find out about that. Hey, is Coach doing okay? Yeah, Coach is doing great. I talked to him yesterday on the phone. He's doing great. He's he's definitely in tune to what's going on here. I can promise you. So yeah, he's doing good. Somebody just asked me if I'm going to Booger Bottom. I don't know if I'm gonna be in South Georgia long enough to go to Booger Bottom, but hey, I encourage everyone out there. If you're in South Georgia, July 4th, go by Booger Bottom. They're gonna have the Kitchafuna Cowboys playing that night. There'll be a bunch of people there, I can tell you. Somebody asked when the first day of fall practice. I got to look at my calendar to get the exact exact date. It's around the beginning of August. It's like around August 1st or something. But I know we reporting back around the 22nd for the staff. So 21st, 22nd. So we're coming in a little earlier than the kids. Hey, I'll take a Valermo Alamo Bowl win, but I hope we get to go to a different bowl because I hope we want to be in the playoffs. That's the goal. That's one reason we're doing the turf on the field. A lot of people have talked about the turf at Folsom Field, and a lot of what we're doing is to prepare for the playoffs. Because if we have to host a home game for the playoffs, we want to make sure our turf is in great shape and it's ready. The surface is what we need for a playoff game. Best part about coaching college, um, man, there's so many good parts. I mean, one thing that I like about it, like when I was coaching high school, I also had to teach a lot of years. So you would have to teach all day, and then you did most of your coaching after school or before school. And the one thing I like about college coaching is I get to focus on football all the time. Hey, if there, like I said, I know we had a lot of coaches out there. If any of you coaches are you know out there that want to see more football, X's and O's, subscribe to my YouTube channel at Coach Pollock CU. I put all my coach talk stuff on there. I give you full breakdowns. If you have a question to comment, I'd be glad to answer those questions and help you out. But I've enjoyed doing that series, and we're just continuing to do that. The biggest obstacle for high school kids transitioning into college. Well, the biggest thing I would say is you have to be more independent. You're probably used to mama getting you out of bed in the morning and laying your clothes out and feeding you and making sure you go to school and stuff like that. There's nobody in college to do that kind of stuff. You got to do it on your own. You got to get up on your own, and you're responsible for your entire day. There's nobody there pushing you. So yeah, the biggest transition is just do that on your own. Keep sending me your stuff, Jacob. Keep sending me your stuff. Let me look at it. I'll keep looking. If you run 4.38, we'll definitely notice you. Well, hey guys, listen. I'm about to get out of here and go grab me some lunch. I got to get some stuff done today, and I've enjoyed hanging out with you guys, and I just look forward to more of these in the future. So y'all keep coming to my page, keep checking out. Like I say, a lot of my stuff's on my YouTube channel. If you guys go there and subscribe, you're going to see a lot more information. The other stuff is kind of just little parts of the full videos that I post on YouTube. So, hey, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. So, and I post all the posts on, try to get all the information to all of them. So, you guys just keep coming, keep bringing it, and hey, enjoy this next week. Everybody, take them a vacation, enjoy their week, and let's come back second week of July ready for some football.